everyone. Today we are going to start with a new chapter, lesson 2 of NCERT, that is acid, bases and salts. This is the chapter of chemistry. Now, when we eat food, we see or we feel that some food that we eat that is sour in taste, some may be bitter in taste, then there are other tastes also, salty, sweetness and all. So today we are going to talk about acids and bases only. So that we are talking about the taste, the sour taste and the bitter taste. That is due to the presence of acids and bases in the food respectively. Right? Acids, what are acids? Acids are those substances which are sour in taste. Like when we eat lemon, orange, mosmi, tamarind, that is imli. All these are sour in taste because they have acid in them. Then you eat curd. Curd has lactic acid in it. Right? So that sourness in the food is due to the presence of acids. Bases, they are bitter in taste. Right? Like the karela, that is gourd that you eat. That is bitter in taste. That is having basic nature in it. There is a base present in it. Then these acids, they are corrosive in nature. No, they cause burns. They are very, very corrosive in nature. Now here we are talking about taste, sour in taste. But we cannot taste all the acids that I'll tell you just now. What are strong acids, what are weak acids. The acids which are present mainly in the plants, in the animals or in the food that we eat, that is very, very weak acid. Now these acids, strong acids, they are mainly very, very corrosive in nature. If any drop of acid falls on your skin, that is the strong acid, it may burn your skin. Right? If it falls on any clothes, suppose it falls on your dress, it will make it a designer dress that is having holes in it. Right? It may burn the clothes. Then even the bases, they are also corrosive in nature. Acids, now how do we taste? Because I told you just now, we cannot taste all the acids. Right? Now if we cannot taste the acids, how can we come to know that any substance which is given to you, whether it is acidic in nature or basic in nature? In acids, they are also soapy or slippery to touch. Right? They are soapy or slippery to touch. But because they are corrosive in nature, we cannot touch also all the bases. Right? So how do we come to know whether a given substance is acidic or basic in nature? So there are several indicators which we can use to test whether a substance is acidic or basic. So what are indicators? Indicators are those substances which tell us whether a substance is acidic or basic by the change in color. You can also say they are a type of dye which changes the color. And the most common indicators are litmus, right? Litmus, then methyl orange and phenolphthalein. These are the three most common indicators which are used to test whether any substance is acidic or basic. So they are mostly a type of dye. Now this litmus, these indicators, they are also of two types. One is natural indicator synthetic indicators. Right? Natural indicators and synthetic indicators. Like this litmus, it is a natural indicator because it is made from a plant called lichens. Right? Mostly it is, in the original form, it is purple in color. Then there are certain other natural indicators also, like certain flowers or vegetables, like red cabbage. Right? Red cabbage. Then there are some flowers also like hydrangea, then petunia, geranium. All these are natural indicators. While this phenolphthalein and methyl orange, these are man-made. So these are synthetic indicators. These natural indicators are organic. These are known as organic indicators. Right? Now, how they change their colors? Let us take first the example of litmus paper. If we take a blue litmus paper and put it in an acid, it will turn into red color. While the bases, they always turn red litmus blue. It will, if you will put blue litmus paper in it, it won't have any effect. There will be no change in color. But if you put red litmus, it will change into blue color. Same way, methyl orange, it turns red. Right? It is orangish in color, but it changes into red color when we put it in an acid. While in case of bases, it turns into yellow color. Children, you have to learn these color changes. Then phenolphthalein is colorless. Right? It is colorless and it remains colorless in acids. While it turns into pink color, dark pink color in bases. So, with the help of these indicators, we can test whether a given substance is acidic or basic in nature. Then, like red cabbage, if you take red cabbage, it will remain red in case of acids. While in case of bases, it turns pink in color. That is, we have to take the extract of this red cabbage. Right? Same way, hydrangea, it is blue. It turns blue color. It shows blue color in acids and green color in bases. Right? So we can take these examples, these indicators to test whether they are acidic or whether the given substance is an acid or a base. Now these acids, all the organic acids, if we talk about organic acids, they are mostly weak. Right? They are mostly weak. While synthetic ones, or we'll take more also here. Wait. First, let me tell you about olfactory indicators. There are one more types of indicators. That is known as olfactory indicators. Now, olfactory means it is related to the smell. Right? We can even check the presence of acid or bases by olfactory indicators. Olfactory indicators the examples we can take like onion, or we can take vanilla, even cloves. You know, all these three, they have very strong smell. Now, what we do is, we take some cloth strips and we take some onion, chopped onion pieces, right, and we put them in a zipper bag, the cloth strip along with the onions, and leave them overnight, right. Next day when we take out those cloth strips, they will have the strong smell of onion, right. Now onion, you know, it has got that strong smell also. The water also starts, tears start rolling down your eyes when you cut the onion. Why? Because of the presence of sulfur in it, right. It is acidic in nature. These are acidic in nature. All three are acidic in nature. Now, when we take out the cloth strips, they will have the peculiar smell of onion in it. Now, what we do is, we take one strip and put some acid on it. And on the other strip, we put a base like NaOH. Now, one last point was left. I'm very sorry, this last point was left to be explained to you, and that is a very important point, that acids release H ions in solution. Whenever we put any acid and we combine, that is acid and water, it will always release H ions. For example, HCl. The solution of HCl, it will break into here H and Cl ions, right? H ions and Cl ions. Or we take the example of H2SO4. This will also break down in solution in water, right? So it will form 2 H ions and SO4 ions in it, right? This is how it breaks down. While bases they have, they release OH ions in solution. All the bases, they will have OH ions in them. Like for example, NaOH. In solution, it will break down into Na and OH ions. Same way if we take magnesium hydroxide, it will break down into Mg plus 2 OH ions. Right? So the examples of bases are like just now I told you, NaOH, NgOH whole twice, or calcium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide. All these are the examples of bases which have OH ions in them. So this is a clear indication. If OH is present, that means it is a base. And all the acids like HCl, H2SO4, HNO3, CH3COOH, this is acetic acid, H ion, H, right? So all these have, essentially acids have H ions in them, right? So what will happen, we come back to this olfactory indicators. We put on one strip an acid, on the other strip we will put a base, like we can put NaOH, right, and HCl on one strip. So what will happen, when we try to smell it, we will not get any smell here where we have put a base on the strip. Why? Because acid was already present in the onion. Whenever it will react with the base, it will neutralize the effect. Acid and base, they nullify each other's effect. So there will be no smell. But if we put acid in it, the smell will be there. So these olfactory indicators can also be used to test whether a substance is acidic or basic in nature. Right? So this was about olfactory indicators. Now we were talking about organic acids. Now these organic acids, I was telling you, these are mostly present in the plants and animals. The acids which are present in plants and animals. Like, for example, in plants, just now as I told you, in red cabbage, in so many flowers it is present, right? In the litmus, that is in the lichens it is present. And in animals, we can take the example of sting of a bee, bee sting. In bee sting, methanoic acid is present. In plants, if we talk about, we can also talk about nettle leaves. They also have the same methanoic acid present in them, right? So, and all other, like we talk about citrus fruits, lemons, oranges, right? Mosmees. Then we have tomatoes. Oxalic acid is present in them. In apple, malic acid is present, right? Tamarind. Even in milk, lactic acid is present. In curd also, lactic acid is present. Right? So, in the plants and animals, they mostly have the organic acids present in them. And the acids which are prepared from the minerals. So, as I was telling you, all these, they have weak acids present in them. And the acids which are prepared from the minerals, they are very strong acids like HCl, H2SO4, HNO3. Now, even the carbonic acid, if we say, that will be a weak acid, of course, right? That will be a weak acid. Now, how there are two types of acid. We can divide them into two types, that is strong acid and weak acids. Right? How strong acids are formed and how weak acids are formed, that we'll take up later in this chapter. Then there are also dilute acids and concentrated acids. Right? Concentrated acids. Dilute acid means which have more of water in them. And in concentrated acids, there is very little amount of water present in it. Very minimum possible amount of water is present. But in dilute acid, we actually prepare dilute acids by adding water. We take water. Now, how to prepare this dilute acid? We take some concentrated acid in a beaker, right? And then little amount of water is added in it. I'm sorry. It's always we take water and add little amount of acid in it, right? Very little amount of acid, and then we stir it nicely, right? Again then we will add some acid, and then again we will stir it nicely, right? So this is how we go on diluting an acid. Why we have to do it? Why can't we add water to the acid? Because this is a highly exothermic reaction. If we will put the acid directly in water, the reaction is so vigorous that it may splash out. It may burn your face, it may burn your clothes, it can be very, very harmful. The reaction is so vigorous, will be so vigorous that it can even break the beaker also in which you are doing the experiment. So we should never add acid to water. We should always add, we should never add water to acid, but we should add acid to water, and that also in very little quantity, right? Slowly we go on adding acid to water. Why? Because this is very strong reaction, you can say, highly exothermic. Even the beaker will become very, very hot. When you are doing this experiment, if you touch the beaker, it will be very hot. It is highly exothermic reaction. So this is how you dilute an acid. If it is in the concentrated form, you always add acid to water. Never add water to acid. This is a question also which comes in exam. That why we should add acid to water while diluting an acid, and why not water to acid? Why? Because it is highly exothermic reaction. It may cause burns. The acid may even splash out, or it may even break the container, right? Then there is a very important question which has been asked in board exams also many a times, that if 3 test tubes are given to you, containing distilled water, acid and base, right? Test tube A, test tube B and test tube C. And you are provided a red litmus paper. How will you come to know whether the substance present in test tube A, B and C is which one is distilled water, which one is acid and which one is a base? So what you should do in this, you've got red litmus paper, you take that strip and one by one you add it in. First you will put it in distilled water, there will be no change. If you put red litmus paper in acid, again there will be no change. But when you will put it in base, this red litmus paper, it will turn blue in color. So you will come to know that this solution in test tube C is a base. Then you take that blue strip. Now the red litmus has turned into blue. So you take that blue litmus paper, again you put it in test tube A, there will be no effect. And when you will put it in test tube B, it will turn red in color. So this indicates that this is acid. And so automatically the third one becomes distilled water. So this is how you can find out which one is distilled water, which one is acid and which one is a base. Now for today, we'll do only this much. You have come to know what is the difference between an acid and a base. Now you know what are indicators, what are natural indicators, what are synthetic indicators, olfactory indicators, then dilute acids, concentrated acids, how you can make the dilute acid, right? And we'll continue with the chapter in the next video now. Till then, you learn about these basic things, and then next we will do the properties of these were mainly the physical properties, that acids are sour in taste and they are corrosive in nature. All these are physical properties. Next, now we will be doing the chemical properties of acids and bases. Till then,